where are we going to start? United and Leipzig, obviously. A huge story into to dissect this. We've got Mark Ogden joining us. Augie, I'm going to start right at the top with the fact that after the game, Solskjaer said effectively that he was taking responsibility and it was on him that United are going out. Did he get the approach to this game wrong in playing that back three, in playing a very evident counter-attacking formation?
Well, considering they needed a draw, I suppose you could say counter-attacking approach was the right approach to do it, but I think the personnel was wrong. You know, Luke Shaw hasn't kicked a ball for 4 to 6 weeks, not fit. It didn't like it. Was it a 3? Was it a 5? Harry Maguire after the game couldn't even tell you. He was actually said 3 or a 5. He didn't even know himself. So this suggests there's a lot of confusion there.
Augie, I'm going to jump in here. Sorry, because I'm sorry. People always say that I cut you off, but you can't just say the personnel's wrong and say Shaw was poor. You got to tell me who he should have played in place of Luke Shaw.
Well, it should have played. I'd have gone with the back four and played Teller. The system that has worked recently in the Premier League, I'd have gone for that. I think if you haven't got the personnel to play it, if your personnel aren't fully fit, then you can't take those risks. You know, they ended up playing with 3 left backs on Tuesday night. 3 left backs played. They had 2 defenders coming off the bench who hadn't appeared for ages. You know, Fosu-Mensah came off the bench, hadn't appeared since September. So it just smacks of just being thrown together and with your fingers crossed and wishful thinking that you're going to get through. It didn't come across to me as a well orchestrated plan to get a result. It just looked like, let's throw a few plays together and hope we get a result.
I have to say, that was grotesque at the end. Brandon Williams, Tuanzebe, and Fosu-Mensah all on the pitch at the same time. I certainly would have never expected this. Robbo, I'm sure you can find further fault, but do you also want to praise Leipzig and Nagelsmann a little bit?
Yeah, because they played at a pace that Manchester United at times couldn't cope with. They got players coming from different positions. They saw that there was a real weakness in the back 3, back 5, whatever you want to call it.
No centre forward.
Yeah, no centre forward. So there was a lot of Manchester United players doing nothing, and they didn't organise themselves.
Arguably missing their best player as well, Upamecano.
But going back to the point with the back 3, managers, I keep hearing, head coaches keep saying, we've got no time to work with the players. We're going from one game to the next game to the next game. If that's the case, you can't keep changing your system and then suddenly putting people in, and as Oggy said, throw a team together, because you are just hoping for the best if you do that. And that's what's happened to Manchester United too many times this season. They're hoping for the best. Then he sorts it out at half-time and changes the system. They play slightly better. But he hasn't prepared his team well enough week in, week out, because there's not enough time to do that. So you have to stick with the same personnel as much as you can and the same system.
Augie, the other kind of elephant in the room here, the other story that dominated this was in the build-up when Mino Raiola, Paul Pogba's agent, came out and he said at this time he's not going to extend his contract with United. And so he's got 18 months left. He's not happy at United because he hasn't performed the level he expects and others expect. United can either lose him on a free, or it's probably in the interest if they sell him in the next couple windows. All makes sense to me. I want to establish something first, right? Has he been offered a new contract by Manchester United at all?
Not officially. I'm sure that talks have taken place that raising the possibility, because United won't want to lose what they consider to be an asset. I think Pogba is a good player. With the right coach, he'd be a very good asset to the team, but I don't think Solskjaer knows what to do with him. I think it's also important to stress that United didn't lose this game because of what happened the day before with Mino Raiola. I don't think that distracted United whatsoever. I don't think Pogba would have played. I don't think he would have started anyway. So he's not started many games recently. I just think that it's an easy excuse to point the finger at Pogba. And to be fair, I don't think anyone at United has.
No.
But let's be honest, it's not really worked for United and Pogba for a good while now. No manager seems to be able to get the best out of him. He doesn't look motivated. He had a great goal at West Ham the other day, but other days he'll commit a stupid foul to give away a penalty in the last 10 minutes of a game. He can't be trusted to perform consistently.
So I think what you said is the way I think most people would photograph the situation. It's what Mino Raiola said, right? It's what he said. He's not performing to the level he wants to be at. So if everybody's in agreement that he's not going to sign a new contract, it's not even clear that United have offered him one, and that the best thing for United, if they want to get some money back, is to move him on, why is everybody getting so bent out of shape about what Raiola said? Is it because we're not used to hearing agents speak plainly?
Well, we used to hear Mino Raiola speak plainly.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Raiola's just doing his job, and personally, I don't really have an issue with it. I just think it's when you buy a player that has Mino Raiola as an agent, that is the price of the ticket. That's what you come to expect, Especially with Pogba, we saw it over the years with Balotelli, we see it with Pogba. I'm sure we might see it in the future with Erling Haaland as well, wherever he ends up. But look, it's just the way that football operates.
But what I'm driving at, though, is this a bad thing for United, that Raiola, or does it actually not matter? Because what he's saying is exactly what Ed Woodward would have said if Ed Woodward had been asked the question and he decided to answer
I think it's a good thing if it forces the issue and it gets some resolution to it. Now, I don't think United will find a buyer in January. I think that's going to be very difficult for anyone to buy Pogba in January. And I think he would have gone this summer, but for the pandemic, I think prior to the lockdown, it was obvious that Pogba's days were numbered at United. He wasn't playing. It was leading to him going to Madrid or Juventus or PSG, and the pandemic changed everything. And the problem that United have got isn't that they want to keep Pogba. The problem is that there isn't really an obvious buyer because nobody's got any money.
Yeah, I think if this deal gets done, given the situation around Europe, given the uncertainty, the clubs that he would want to go to and that could afford to pay him are going to try to do a players plus cash deal, or maybe even a players deal. And those are difficult, and those are extremely messy, and it's not clear that it's what United necessarily want. So it's going to be hard, but I think all parties involved want to get this done.
I think if he goes somewhere else, he'll still be a world-class player.
And of course, could come back and win the Ballon d'Or. Who knows? Augie, thanks so much.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.